Hello and welcome back to the Basic Me podcast. I'm your host and favorite SEO coach, Brittany Herzberg. And OMG, did I book myself silly as we jump into 2026. Major whoops there. I had, I think it was like 8 calls this week alone. And as an introvert, I kind of wish to never ever do that again. But on the flip side, as a coach, this was wildly helpful in bringing this episode to life. So it's all about balance, I guess. And yes, that means today's episode is going to be one of your favorite types. I've got an SEO Q&A for you. And please know that if you ever have questions of your own, you can send them to me on Instagram. Just DM me. I'm Brittany_Herzberg, or you can text the show. There's a link below that should show up no matter what podcast player you're in. You can also leave a comment on the episode blog post if that's where you're at. Look, you can pretty much get in touch with me any different which way. I will get an answer to you. Okay, let's get into things, shall we? Here we go. If I've been a guest on a podcast, am I allowed to blog about that? Yes. 1,000 times yes. And I will have you know that this is not a dumb question, number one, because this came to my attention from another SEO pro friend of mine. It was a whole thing that played out on Threads, and now we are accountability buddies in actually making use of all of these media features that we have. So wish us luck. Here are things you're going to need to know. If you haven't already, you can create something like a Spotify playlist with all of your podcast interviews in there. I've done this myself. I'll make sure that I have the link for you. And this isn't so much of an SEO play, but more of a tip for you to help make this project a little easier. So you've got all of the podcasts in there. You could, let's say, like I know for me, some of the podcasts I was on, I was talking about massage therapy and building a massage practice. Well, that doesn't really help anymore. I could make an argument for a way that I could turn that into a blog post, but most likely I'm not going to turn that into a blog post. Instead, I'm going to focus on the ones where I'm talking about SEO in all the different formats, SEO for podcasts, SEO for blogs. I'm going to go and blog about that stuff because that's what I want to get found for. But creating the Spotify playlist, again, like I said, it's just going to make it easier for you to work through that checklist. Another thing, you do not want to copy and paste the exact same blog that the podcast host has on their site. I've seen this done before, and it just makes me sad because not only will those blog posts compete with one another as opposed to working alongside each other, but if you were to copy paste the same post, you're missing an opportunity to share more and to go deeper with those who are actually interested. And you're missing a key SEO opportunity, which is also an AI opportunity, and that is to build your strategic online web so robots can easily understand what you do, who you help, when and why they should recommend you as an answer to a question. You want to embed the episode audio on your site as well in your blog post. And for the longest time, I have told people to just go and ask the podcast host for the embed code, but this just in, you can get the embed code from Spotify. And shout out to Danielle Corbett for that tip because I did not know that. That was another Threads win. By embedding the audio on your blog post, what you're going to do is increase the time, or at least the likelihood that you'll increase the time someone might spend on your site, which is something the SEO robots like to see, because that typically means that the person is finding whatever you shared to be helpful. So time on page is something that's a key indicator that, again, like I said, these robots are looking for. You also want to link to the podcast host. Ideally, they have a podcast page on their website that you can link to. If not, you'll most likely want to link the homepage, but go with what makes sense here. If you're on their show, for example, as a case study interview, and you're talking about a coaching program of theirs that you went through, you enjoyed, you saw results from it, then of course you could link to that page. And yes, you can definitely have more than one link that goes to their website. I'll be talking about this at least in part in the blogging workshop I have in January. In fact, you know what? I think that this episode that you're listening to is going to air on the date of our first call. So we have 2 calls. Call number 1 is happening on January 23rd, and call number 2 is happening on January 30th. Call 1 is where we're going to map out your next 12 blogs. And if you're planning to blog once a month in 2026, that means you can join us and map out your blogs for the entire year. The workshop is only $47 unless you use code podcast10, which will give you $10 off. In call number 2, what we're doing is getting ready to publish that first blog post. And actually last year when I ran this workshop, there were even people who were into the phase where they were promoting their blog post by the time we got to our second call. Both of these calls are going to be live. Yes, you get replays, and you're even getting a workbook with additional resources to help you blog with ease for the rest of the year. So that link will be below. I recently got this next question from someone who's considering SEO support. She shared, I know there's potential with SEO, but I have 2 big hesitations. 1, could I even rank in a helpful way for business growth, sales, not just traffic? And 2, are my clients even buying this way? I know newer business owners are Googling all sorts of things, but is the same true for more experienced people? Yes and yes. And please know that these are super common hesitations, especially when it comes to SEO. And whenever doubt enters the chat, I'm heading straight for the data. So if someone is worried about someone not typing something in or not searching for something, I'm heading for key search, aka my favorite keyword research tool. And 9 times out of 10, people aren't just searching for that phrase, lots of them are searching for that. For the other point, the entire point of doing SEO, at least in my world, is so that your business can benefit. It's the reason I start everyone off with those big 3 questions. Who do you help? How do you help them? What do you want to be known for or get found for? Because those answers are what's going to direct your keyword research. And when we have your who, how, and what front and center, we're going to be looking for keywords that don't just get you traffic, but that get you booked, that get people who are searching and ready to make a purchase into your world, at least some of the time. That's the goal. Because then your website, meaning your main website pages like your home page, your services pages, etc., and your blog posts can go out and market for you 24/7. And not just them, your entire digital footprint is working cohesively to bring in the most aligned, right and ready leads straight to you. And if you're like, yes, please, I'm ready for my website to work for me like this, you're going to be best served either by done-for-you website SEO optimization or by joining SEO and Grow. It comes down really between those 2 options to the investment and how much learning and doing you actually want to do. I have a blog post, funny enough, in the works where I'm comparing these 2. So as soon as that's live, I'll add that to the show notes. And of course, the links for everything mentioned here will also be below. This next one came from a monthly SEO support client. She's a therapist and has a therapy practice, meaning there are lots of therapists under one roof. We're in the process of updating team member pages, and she spotted a couple really key opportunities, the H1 and H2 headlines for each therapist page. She left this comment in the Google Doc for me. Should this be more direct as to who he helps versus a pretty line that doesn't mean anything to the Google gods? And yes, by working together over the last several months, this client has started to pick up on some of these key opportunities that we can leverage to make web pages and even blog posts more magnetic. It's been really, really fun to watch. With the therapist pages specifically, what helps the most is understanding their who, how, and what. Who do they want to help? How do they want to help them? What do they want to get found for? And this is kind of a unique situation, but you may be the head of a practice or have several employees at your business who could each have their own about page, so you'll get this. When we're optimizing pages for others, they're not always ready to get specific about who they help, how they help them, what they want to be known for. So I want to take a second to talk to that. If this is the case for you, try explaining to them that they're not blocking others from reaching out. It's not like they're saying no to people. And this is usually a big hesitation, that people don't want to appear as if they're unwilling or unable to help a wide range of people. But the problem is that if you're not clear with who you do help, no one will reach out. People aren't just looking for any therapist or any massage therapist or any photographer or any coach. They're looking for the one who can help them. So at least try to get this person to whittle it down to maybe 3 different groups of people, like couples, individuals, and teens, and maybe 1 to 2 specialties like brain spotting and talk therapy. From there, and to come back to the question that this client asked, you can add in those groups and or specialties into the SEO title and the H1 and H2 headlines. Then the page is better equipped to go and market for this person, the practice, and for leads and inquiries to come in and even bookings. There's one other thing I want to talk about while we're here, and that's the monthly SEO support. a lot of SEO people actually start with, whether that be like agencies or an individual, they start with people on monthly maintenance. I do it differently. I start people out with the SEO project of their website. And that's true whether you're coming in for done for you SEO or if you're coming in for SEO and Grow, the group coaching program. So I just want to point that out. I have a lot more to say about that, but I'm going to get back to this. So the zoomed out view of monthly SEO support in my world is that we're reviewing the data and making aligned decisions based on the data. There are 3 key parts to this. 1, the data, and using the SEO data dashboard, which pulls in information from Google Search Console and Google Analytics, and then creating an SEO report each month, which shows things like traffic performance, keyword rankings, all that good stuff. It gives you a really good idea of what's working and where some opportunities are for improvement. So that's where I'm starting, is with the data, with that dashboard, which again is tied to Google Search Console and Google Analytics, and then creating that SEO report to really go, okay, what keywords are we ranking for? What's happening with traffic? How much time are people spending on the page? What pages are the most people coming to? The second thing is the content. So based on the SEO report plus your vision, I'm helping you identify at least 1 to 3 pieces of content that can be optimized and or created that month. And we're factoring in your capacity here big time. Things like, what does your life look like? How much time do you actually have this month? All of that matters. And this is a really big reason why SEO is such a sustainable marketing strategy, because there's literally no reason for you to hit burnout with it if you're taking baby steps with it each month. It can and should feel like a very doable marketing option, one that you, I don't know, maybe even start looking forward to. And then thing 3, the extra opportunities. This is where you'll get to take advantage of things like optimizing additional website pages. Maybe you have a workshop coming up and you want to optimize that landing page. Optimizing marketing assets, perhaps for a previous podcast guest interview or an upcoming guest blog post, or even fixing errors like broken links or missing alt text that can be addressed to improve discoverability and the user experience, which generally leads to more people finding you and taking a next step. Currently, the only way to work with me for monthly SEO support, like I mentioned, is if you've worked with me for done for you SEO previously, and it doesn't matter how long ago it was, or if you've gone through SEO and Grow. And I've got 2 options for monthly support. One is done for you SEO support, where I'm doing more of the doing. And the other is my maintain membership, which is a group option and put more of the learning and the doing on you. But with both, you're getting strategic input from me, time with me on calls and in Google Docs, and all the ideas my brain spits out, it's a lot. If you're DIYing it, you might find the SEO data dashboard and accompanying SEO report template really, really helpful, at least to get started. So I'll make sure that that's linked below. And I will also mention that I'm brainstorming a DIY monthly maintenance something behind the scenes. So stay tuned and I'll let you know whenever that comes to fruition. A recent SEO and Grow graduate asked this next question. She said, I want to rank for X keyword. I've tried adding it in here and there to my main website pages, but what should I do to increase my chances of getting found for that? I just want to say, first of all, that I deeply get how frustrating this is, especially when you've already put time and effort into this mission. And here are some additional things that you want to consider or make sure that you've done. One being blogs. And I'm going to say it. If you really want to kick it up a notch, you could aim for 1 blog a week. I would say at least for 2 months. Give that a try. The reason you want to look to blogs is because by going deep on whatever that thing is you want to get found for, you can approach it from different angles. And by sharing that content, you're really showing the robots, whether it be the SEO robots or even the AI robots, again, what do you do? How do you help people? What should they recommend you for? So blog for sure. 1 blog a month is enough. And if this is a mission of yours to really rank for something specific, this is part of the approach that you could take, is blogging maybe weekly for a little bit. You also want to look into hyperlinks. So hyperlinks specifically between pages of your site. So internal hyperlinks. I'm throwing all the words at you today. You want to use the actual phrase that you want to get found for with these hyperlinks. So let's say you want to rank for grief support. you're going to make sure grief support is the phrase that is hyperlinked. And you'll know that this is done correctly when you see the words underlined and or the font color is a little bit different from the rest of the text. The hyperlink, by doing this, again, you're just calling attention to that phrase for those robots so that they're like, oh, okay, this is something I need to pay attention to. This is what so-and-so works on. That's really key. Also, you want to go out into the world. You want to guest blog or be a podcast guest or maybe be a contributor for a really big article where they're spotlighting different experts. With this, you want to have that keyword as part of the main point that you're making, either in the blog or in the interview. So keep that in mind. And this is where it's like, okay, what's the goal? Well, you want to show up for that keyword more. So then we start to work backwards and say, what are some things we could do? This being one of those things. So it's going to really impact what show you pitch or what blog post topic you pitch. But you can see how this all just adds up. The last thing you want to do is ensure you're using the phrase offsite in things like social media profiles and directory listings. AI is especially paying attention to how your digital footprint is connected. One thing it wants to see is that if you're saying you're a podcast producer, that you're saying it on your website and on Instagram and on LinkedIn. You get the idea. But you want to be sharing that phrase, whatever that phrase is that you want to rank for. You could add that into those profiles and directory listings where applicable so that it, again, just adds to that digital footprint of yours. You will get even more guidance from me around this in the SEO Basics course, in SEO and Grow, and of course in the blogging workshop. All of the links, again, will be below. And final question is, what are these bonus one-to-one calls for SEO and Grow used for? And if you're not familiar with what she's asking about here, SEO and Grow is my group coaching program. And right now, early bird signups get 3 really epic bonuses. So you get 1, a mini SEO audit and strategy for your homepage delivered ASAP, usually within about 7 to 10 days. I'm taking a look at what's going on with your current SEO, shining a light on some of the opportunities that we have, and then I'm giving you a 2-part homepage SEO strategy. So you're getting that, and then it's really easy to plug in. You can do it in under 5 minutes, and the tutorials are included in everything that I deliver. You're also going to get a bonus group call in February. I'll be inviting everyone in the March round for an open house of sorts where you get to bring me questions that you have about SEO, the program, about what to do before we start, if you're still wondering that. It's going to be like a pre-program group coaching call and get to know each other kind of call. It's like a mashup. And I'm really excited for this. I haven't done this before for any previous rounds, and I think it's going to be really, really fun. The third thing you get, which brings us to this question, is a one-to-one call with me. Here's what I've noticed after doing several of these calls in the last few months. People get to ask those questions that they feel really silly asking. It's just you and me on the call. And truly, I mean it when I say there are no dumb questions. So you get on the call, you get to ask the thing. And I found that lots of people wonder about 2 really specific and common things. They want to know where to find all of the stuff for the program. So we have a program hub, you get weekly emails, we have almost weekly group coaching calls, and we have a Telegram group chat. So I get to give you a lay of the land, and you get to feel so much better knowing where to find things and having that sense of familiarity with what's where before the program even begins. In this call, we're also able to set expectations for what you quote unquote need to do beforehand and what we'll be doing in the actual program. There's really not a ton for you to do before we start. There are maybe 4 short videos total to watch and 1 task. And that's just if you'd like to. If you don't want to, or let's say you sign up kind of late for the program, like right before we start, all of this is built into the time in the program. It's just helping you get a lay of the land, like I said before we actually start. The bonus call can be whatever you need it to be. I've had a couple people who want to set deadlines for themselves during the program. I've had a couple other people who knew they'd be out for weeks or even a whole month of the program. So we talked about a modified action plan for them that they were able to stick to so they didn't feel behind at any point. And one person was even curious about support options that would be available to them after the program ended. And mind you, we hadn't even started the program yet. It's your time and we'll use it however you need. And if you'd like to explore SEO and Grow, then the link is going to be below. And when you do have questions come up, you can DM me on Instagram. Again, it's Brittany_Herzberg, and I'll get back to you. So to recap, if you've been a guest on a podcast, yes, please blog about it on your own site. You can join the blogging workshop if you'd like more guidance on how to do that. It is so normal to wonder if SEO will be quote unquote worth it, if it will actually bring in more sales, more clients. But this is something I get to see play out weekly. And just like I said, if you doubt that people are actually searching for a term, go to the data, do your own keyword research. Specificity is the name of the game when it comes to SEO. The reason being, people want to know who can help them with their situation. They want to know that there is someone out there who gets them, who understands what they're working on, and is able to help them. Monthly SEO support is really about reviewing the data and taking aligned action to continue helping your website and content market for you, so you can get those leads coming to you on the regular. If you want to show up more for a certain keyword, zoom out and look holistically to see if you're doing all the things you possibly could do on your website as well as off your website. And lastly, if you save a seat early for the March round of SEO and Grow, you'll get a one-to-one call with me. The links are below for everything I mentioned, and I really hope this was a helpful episode for you. If something stood out to you, I would love to know. Find me on Instagram, Brittany_Herzberg, or send a text using the link below on your podcast player, or you can leave a comment if you're listening to this on the blog post. Until next time, know that I'm cheering you on your SEO journey. You've heard me talk about it, but how exactly does social proof support SEO? Well, your clients are kind of freaking brilliant because when they share what it's like to work with you or what they were able to achieve or accomplish with your help, they use words that other people are searching for. For real, they'll say things like, I walk away with practical tips to apply SEO to my own business, or all online business owners need to know about your SEO course, or Brittany helps me understand SEO in a real and tangible way. You know what's coming next, right? I need your help to get the Basic V podcast reaching more of the right ear holes. When you follow, rate, review, and share the show, that helps me help more entrepreneurs discover and lean into the magic of SEO. As a little extra incentive to write a review, once a month, I'll be selecting one podcast reviewer to receive a free mini SEO audit. You'll help me get discovered, and I'll do the same for you. Check the description for more info.